Hey everybody, this is TJR. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If not, welcome back. And this is a follow-up video to the video I posted last week where I discuss the announcement and details of the upcoming re-release, and I should also add 2024 remix of Queen's debut album, now retitled Queen 1. And after I posted that video, I got quite a lot of comments, and I wanted to address some of them here. Some of these comments, and I'm looking at notes here, are in reference to an oversight that I made, that I will admit to. Also, that certain portions of the bonus material included in this set has already been previously released. I'm going to discuss that too. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, accusations regarding auto-tuning Freddie Mercury's vocals. Yeah. So let's dive into all of these here. First of all, in my original video, I mentioned that I thought that Queen 1, while it is an album that I really like a lot, I thought it was odd that the band would choose to start a series of remix re-releases with this album versus, say, Night at the Opera or News of the World. And saying that garnered me a slew of comments, not undeserved, but a slew of comments from people informing me and updating me, telling me that, hey, Queen already did a box set of News of the World quite a number of years ago. And what's more, they did one for The Miracle. Now, I'll be completely honest, The Miracle, that one just slipped my mind. But I was aware of the Queen News of the World box set, as you can plainly see here. Back when it was released, or I should say back when it was announced, I did a video talking about the details. I didn't get it initially because it was very expensive, but sometime later it would go on sale, a flash sale, and Superfan was sweet enough to get it for me. But the reason I didn't consider this when talking about the new 2024 set of Queen's debut album is because this set and The Miracle both featured a remaster, not a remix. And so I was presumptuous, admittedly, and just assumed that since this was quite a while ago and so was the other one, I just assumed that this was the start of something new, a series, not unlike what the Beatles have been doing for the last couple of years, where we have been getting an annual box set with a remixed album at the forefront of the whole thing. Now, granted, we're not getting one this year, and we didn't get one last year, but up until then, they had been pretty steady with these. We've been getting them annually. And I just thought, yeah, they're jumping on that bandwagon. This is what they're doing. Of course, this also garnered me quite a few comments from people who reminded me that the reason for the Queen 1 remix is because the band wasn't happy with it, something that's very obvious from the press materials involving that. And that the later albums, like News of the World and Night at the Opera, don't need it. And, you know, you could very well be right. Everybody who said that could very well be right about that. I was presumptuous and thought that maybe this is what they're doing. But also, who knows? If this new set does really well, they could very well decide, let's do more. I know that those later albums do sound great. They probably don't need a remix. But then again, Steven Wilson has certainly over the years given us plenty of remixes that we didn't know we needed until we heard them. So you never know. I just figured, you know, they were jumping on that bandwagon. Maybe they're not, though. Maybe it's just for this debut album, and that's it. Maybe Queen 2, maybe nothing else. Who knows? But at any rate, though, I was presumptuous. We'll have to see. This brings me now to the third topic, which, in all honesty, if true, could make everything I just said a moot point, at least for me anyways. I got a couple of comments from people who accused the band Queen, the remaining members, of auto-tuning Freddie Mercury's vocals. And this is in regards to the advanced single that was released, The Night Comes Down. When I first heard these comments, I thought, it's probably hyperbole. It's probably, just the internet being the internet. I mean, why in the world would you auto-tune Freddie Mercury? His voice is so perfect. His sense of pitch is so perfect. He's got one of the best voices, if not the best voice in rock and roll. He's got one of the best voices in pop music history, just beyond rock and roll. Why would you do that? It makes zero sense, and I could not believe that. Admittedly, when I first heard the advanced single, it was without that knowledge. And I remember being blown away by the fact that the drums did sound much more full and less dead like they did in the original recording. At least by comparison, it certainly felt that way. I also was impressed with how the band sounded too. And honestly, there's a big long instrumental section before the vocals even come in. And maybe I was just too impressed by the rest of what I was hearing to really think that there was anything wrong with Freddie Mercury's vocals. But after reading these comments and thinking about it for a while, I figured I better do a little research. And so I went down that rabbit hole, and I found out that this might be more than just a few people being, the internet. And even found a video. This was from the Wings of Pegasus channel that was released just a day or so ago. By the way, it's a really good channel. The guy does a great job doing music commentary, music analysis. And he extracted the audio from the 2024 remix and from the original mix, just Freddie Mercury's vocals. He plays them back to back, and he kind of shows the graph of the pitch and how the original is slightly out of tune. Not that anybody would ever notice or care, it still sounds great. Even the most perfect of singers are never auto-tune pitch perfect. Just as even the greatest drummers are never spot on, locked to the grid, perfect like, a drum machine will be. They don't need to be. I mean, it's those little imperfections that give the music its heart and soul. And when you take that away, you lose some of that heart and soul. And he played them. And hearing them naked, suddenly it was one of those things that you can no longer unhear. And the main difference that I heard was that in the original mix, you can hear Freddie Mercury singing the notes, enunciating the words, which he's very good at, but you can hear where the enunciation of the words begin and stop, where the notes begin and stop. And in the remix version, there's less of it. It's more like he slides up to each note, and his words sort of slide from one word to the other. It's subtle, but it's there. And yeah, it kind of had a little bit of that auto-tune filter. Without the band, it was much more noticeable than with the band. And honestly, I wasn't looking for it. And honestly, I just didn't want to believe it. Even now, I'm still kind of wrapping my brain around this thinking, nah, they couldn't have. Maybe this is just the better clarity of the remix. Maybe, maybe that's all it is. But the more I listened to it and compared it, the more I thought, no, this sounds like they auto-tuned him. And I think I'm suffering from a little bit of denial on this, but it seems like, yeah, they did. And he talks about how there was a high likelihood that when Freddie Mercury was in the room, with the headphones on, sometimes when you have headphones on both ears, you hear the pitch slightly differently from what you sing. So you sing slightly off. He has a few semitones off, he said. But if you take one headphone on and take the other one, remove it, you can sometimes hear it better. And he thinks this is what might have happened. And at the end of the day, that was the result. And maybe They were always unhappy with that. But what he said they should have done, and he said if I was a producer, rather than auto-tune the vocal, I would either not change the vocal at all, but either move it a semitone or two down, or move the band a semitone or two up. This is not pitch correction. This is just simply changing, using speed variation, and get it to match. And he even did a demonstration of what that sounded like, and how you're hearing Freddie Mercury's real voice versus an auto-tune voice, which has this element of artificiality when you hear it. Again, I don't think it's like extremely noticeable, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And this makes me wonder, if they did it with this track, are they going to do it with others? Is it just this one track? Will it be all over the release? Any little, human imperfection, which is unavoidable because we're humans, will they do this? And I started to think to myself, maybe I really don't want this. Because instead of listening to the music, I'm going to be listening for auto-tuning. Both subtle and not subtle. I'm going to be listening for it. And so, yeah, I'm really disappointed by this. I'm really glad I found this out. I'm really glad I watched this video from Wings of Pegasus. But I'm also just really disappointed, and I'm still fighting denial on this. Part of me does not want to believe this is what they did. Part of me wants to keep thinking, no, it's not that at all. You're just hearing better clarity from the remix. But yeah, every time I go back to it, and now when I hear it with the band, it's like, yeah, instead of hearing him enunciate the words and the notes one at a time, it feels more like a slide. It's a little too smooth, and it's not quite human. Anyways, though, yeah, I recommend you check out that video. Just look up his channel, Wings of Pegasus. You'll find the video. He just released it a day or so ago. And let me know what you think. I'd love to be proven wrong on this. I really would. I really don't want to believe this, but I think it's unavoidable. Anyways, though, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any counter arguments. But right now, this is looking like they auto-tuned him, which to me is a crime. My buddy Robert, who I've done a lot of videos with, he's always saying that, it's a crime that they did this. It's a crime that happened in regards to different things, musically, especially when he talks about the Rock Hall of Fame. It's criminal, he'll say. And I always feel like he's, well, I agree with him. Yeah, the Rock Hall of Fame, makes a lot of stupid choices. I just don't take it that seriously. I don't take them that seriously. He's a lot more passionate about it. But this I'm taking very seriously, and I'm going to say, yeah, it's criminal. It's criminal doing this to any legendary vocalist, without their consent, and he certainly can't consent to it. It just shouldn't be done. It's not needed. This is one of the best voices in rock and roll ever. It's just not needed. Anyways, though, the more I talk about this, the harder it is for me to keep talking about it. So I'm going to stop here. As always, if you like these videos, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so you never miss a video. I want to give a thank you and shout out to my Patreon supporters. Patreon supporters do receive exclusive weekly videos not available on this channel. If you'd like to be a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/TJR the original. And mostly just thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this, everybody. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.